Thanks so much. And thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We're obviously incredibly appreciative of the giving that everyone here has, the commitment that everybody here has made to give. It's been an incredible year for Leigh and me, I think, in co-chairing this campaign. And we're really thrilled to have been able to take the goal that Gordon gave us, and thanks to all of the work for the people here to really kind of bash through it and raise just a tremendous amount of money for the United Way to do a lot of great work, especially given everything that's happened with COVID. It's been unbelievable to see what's happening in the world right now, whether it's COVID or whether it's the racial injustice that we see kind of coming to the fore and becoming really a global movement. It's just been an unbelievable time, I think, to be here in King County, in Seattle. And obviously what's leading people to protest isn't new. It's a reality that's lasted for many hundreds of years. But the work that the United Way is doing, I think, is really more important than ever before. And I think everybody on this call feels the desire and the hope of using our own platform to address inequities that we see caused by racism, caused by systemic injustice, and certainly made worse by the global pandemic of COVID. So I think everyone probably knows that COVID-19 has impacted communities of color much more so than others. And you see lots of data. Hispanic women have had the highest rate of unemployment. If you look at the unemployment data in May, at about 19%. Black women were the second category, right behind them at 17%. So there's no doubt, I think, as we look around and we see inequities that already existed are now being exacerbated by COVID-19. Our work with the campaign really kicked into almost a fifth gear in March as we saw Gordon and the team pivot so much of what the United Way was doing to become all about COVID relief. And it's been amazing to see the generosity that people have shown in these last couple of months. The home-based program that the Mariners and the United Way kicked off, maybe 9 or 10 months ago, and Microsoft got behind, is one of my favorite programs. It's geared towards helping prevent eviction, taking somebody who's just about to lose their apartment or their home and be evicted, and then quickly help those people stay in their homes. And the generosity and the support from people like all of you helped the United Way raise about $5 million and make that available in April, when the United Way got about 7,000 applications for COVID relief, which was much, much higher than anyone expected it to be. About 70% of those 7,000 came from people of color, again, proving that point. And we know that people of color are overrepresented in poverty and in homelessness. So the income and wealth gaps in King County are very, very big. And we think that these types of relief efforts and people like you are really helping us find ways to keep people in their homes. It's great that the federal government has done things like moratoriums, but we know that back rent is still going to be due. It's not like back rent is waived. It still needs to be paid. So programs like Homebase are awesome. Then when it comes to looking at those applications, 600 of those 7,000 applications were from college students. And it's programs like Bridge to Finish, which is another program Leigh and I got to see firsthand, are really important because they help people stay in school. They help people break the cycle of poverty by not dropping out of community college and be able to then get a degree and, of course, get employed. The unemployment rate in May was probably the lowest among people who had a bachelor's degree. It was about 7%. And so you compare that to 18% of workers without a high school diploma, and it's really clear that college education is a key to becoming employed. So whether it's Homebase, keeping people in their homes, whether it's Bridge to Finish, helping people graduate, those are two of the areas that we've been really kind of impressed by, and that you're, as champions, you're helping make real impact week after week.
So the other thing that happened during the pivot was hunger relief had to change. And so the United Way has delivered emergency food vouchers to over 1,800 households. And these are $400 vouchers to Safeway that can be used for food and other necessities. These also includes providing food vouchers to undocumented workers who are often excluded from other relief funds, particularly federal funds. The United Way has also partnered with Fair Start and the YMCA to deliver goods to 1,300 families at Seattle Housing Authority sites, and more than 500 AmeriCorps people, students and members have been working at food banks and community meal sites. So one of the things that happened is that the summer food program that often feeds kids had to pivot, and now that's grab and go from parks instead of being lunch in the parks. COVID-19 didn't create the disparities that Chris mentioned earlier, but it is certainly shining a light on them. And it's so great the United Way is stepping up in its leadership role. And now I'm going to pass this off to Gordon, and he's going to talk about the United Way and what's going on right now. Good luck, Gordon. Go.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Leigh. Really appreciate being with all of you champions. And this is a celebration. But if you take anything away from what Chris and Leigh have said, is there's so much work to be done on any given time period, any year. But in 2020, it's just been incredible. The challenges that this community is going through in terms of the COVID with economic and health issues, all kinds of stress on our most vulnerable communities. And then we have a reckoning, a long delayed and very appropriate reckoning around racial inequity and the need for racial and ethnic justice. So I think in many ways, I hope that you understand and how important you are and how champions you are in terms of helping this community continue on a long path toward one where our community works for everybody. It's socially just. People have economic opportunity and mobility. They have good health. I joined United Way in October, so it's approaching 1 year, and immediately got to work with Chris and Leigh, and that was some of the most exciting times working with them. And you can tell they just get it, and they lead so well. I was really excited to, having been away from United Way for a while, to understand how much United Way was already embracing the challenges around racial inequities, and we're doing even more of that. And not just in where we choose to show up, how we do our programming, working more and more with directly with communities of color, working with small, scrappy, grassroots, minority-led, people of color-led nonprofits who have a very close connection to the community. And as we're going to talk about tonight, like many nonprofits, human services, and philanthropy, making sure we understand intersectionality between poverty and health. Health broadly defined, social determinants of health, not just your physical health, and what it means to the communities who are most impacted in terms of health disparities, socioeconomic disparities.